works.
Oh, great, good. That's an important
You need
thing.
this? No.
Yeah, it's green.
Okay.
Use green to turn that on.
Yep. So the minutes are for the prior meeting, which
Prior
would be the 24 annual meeting?
Sure, 2024 annual
Well,
meeting,
we
but
are
it's,
in
but it's about
20.
2020. It happened in 20, yes, that is correct. I'm just, I know.
I want to get the motion right here. You know, I am on the Board of Architectural Review, and they really pay attention to those motions.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's 9 o'clock, and we have a lot to cover. So let's begin with a word of prayer. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, ruler of all things in heaven and earth, hear our prayers for this parish family. Strengthen the faithful, arouse the careless, and restore the penitent. Grant us all things necessary for our common life, and bring us all to be of one heart and one mind within your holy church. All this we ask in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for our annual meeting. This year's annual report is 36 pages long. We have a lot to cover in just 45 minutes. So you all should have received the annual report electronically in the epistle that went out on Friday. If you have not, please reach out to the church, or if you would like a hard copy, reach out to the church. We're happy to provide one for you. And I would encourage you to spend some time looking through those reports. We've accomplished a lot together, so please do read through those and celebrate all the wonderful milestones that we have achieved. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to approve the minutes shortly. I'll give a report. Our associate rector will give a report, junior warden, senior warden, treasurer's report, and then we'll elect our 4 new vestry members to the vestry. So at this time, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the prior year's annual meeting minutes.
Okay. Is there a second? Lots of seconds. Okay. So Michael seconded. All right. Thank you. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed with a nay. All right. Minutes are approved from last year's meeting. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to jump into my report now. First of all, I just want to begin by thanking all of you for your spirit of generosity and hospitality. I can't tell you the number of times I've spoken with first-time visitors, and they always come to me and say, your church is so warm and so welcoming, and that is credit to all of you. So thank you, thank you. It's a gift to worship with you all and to serve alongside each and every one of you. And as I've mentioned in years past, St. James is so much more than numbers. We know that. However, the numbers that I'm going to report to you and the numbers that you see reflected throughout those 36 pages, they are in many ways an outward and visible sign of the health and vitality that we are experiencing here at St. James. So I want to start by sharing just a few of those. I know this is hard to see, but 63 new members in 2024 for a total of 823 baptized members here at St. James. Now that includes adults, teenagers, and children. Our ASA, average Sunday attendance last year, went up from 209 to 233. And our online attendance average is 26 every Sunday. And just to give you kind of a reference, the Diocese of Virginia, the ASA for the Diocese of Virginia is 88 people on a Sunday across the board. The National Episcopal Church ASA is 60. So this gives you, I hope, some encouragement that we're doing some wonderful things here at St. James. I'm also I was blown over at the number of people who came and worshiped with us at our Christmas Eve services and Christmas Day. 976 people worshiped with us, almost 1,000 people. And I'm telling you, I'm clergy talk, okay? And I know churches that are double our size in membership in ASA who didn't get that many people on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So well done. 19 baptisms and 15 folks were confirmed or received in 2024. This is a very small sampling of the outreach that we do here at St. James. Last year, 76 home communion visits, and the majority of those were our pastoral associates, and then we had the clergy make visits as well. $26,000 was given directly outside our doors to different charities, and those were largely from our collections at Christmas and our collections at our Easter services. $7,000 was raised for local charities at this year's Alternative Gift Fair. So it was a wonderful thing to see that Alternative Gift Fair come back, and a big, big thank you to Sarah Bauer for making it come back. 5,290 meals served to those in need through our Grace to Go ministry. Over 100 gifts were wrapped and sent to children who have parents, or at least a parent, who is incarcerated through our Prison Fellowship Angel Tree ministry. And then 3,300 pounds of food was donated to Loudon Hunger Relief. And a lot of that food comes directly from our community garden. Last year, we also, because of the growth that we were experiencing, we hired, many of you know, a part-time communications coordinator, Stephanie Sanders. And thanks to the gift of technology, Stephanie actually lives in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And yet the staff meets with her on a regular basis virtually. We have staff meetings with her, we have one-on-one meetings with her, and she's doing an incredible job. Obviously, I could not do what I do here at St. James without our very talented staff. Of course, you're going to hear from our Associate Rector, Reverend Mary Beth, in just a few minutes, our Parish Administrator, Reedy Snodgrass, our Choir Master, Director of Music, Dr. Cooksey, and our wonderful Verger K. Gregg, and then our seminarian, Josh, is back today. Perfect timing, Josh. Thanks for being here. If you all have not met our child care workers, please make every effort to go introduce yourself to them and thank them for what they do. They've really changed the atmosphere of what happens in our nursery. Big thank you to Daisy Cruz, Valerie Evans, Jess Eastridge, which you'll hear more about from Mary Beth shortly, does an amazing job with our children. And we are so blessed to have Adon Cortez. He's been faithfully serving St. James for over 18 years. He does an incredible job during the week. And then we have an amazing sexton here on Sunday, Gustavo, who gets everything together for our services. Preschool, most of you know that Janet Stayrook retired last year. And our interim director is Kim Karen. She's doing an amazing job, along with our administrative assistant, Laura Heyer. And just to give you all a quick update on where we are with that, the search committee has met. The search committee has spoken with our current preschool staff, had some great discussions with them, and we're in the process of putting together the official job description, which will go out later this month. And we are hopeful that we'll have a new director in place by the end of this school year. So stay tuned for that. Also, our communications coordinator put together a brand new website for our preschool. So if you haven't seen it, please do check it out. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to mention, most of you know we have another seminarian that St. James has raised up and sponsored, Kara Laughlin. She is going to be ordained to the diaconate on Saturday, March the 1st, ironically, at our other seminarian sponsoring parish, St. George's in Arlington. So please do mark your calendars and plan on joining us for that special celebration. It'll also be live stream. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Mary Beth.
Good morning. Again, it is a pleasure to continue to serve all of you as your associate rector. I think I've been here 19 months now. Yeah, and it feels like it has been a lifetime and a blink of the eye. So we've done a lot. We did a lot in 2024, and I'm going to give you some brief highlights. And before I say this, I'm covering sort of two areas, the two areas that you really hired me to have in my wheelhouse: family ministry and pastoral care. But I also have worked alongside our planned giving committee and our cemetery, historic cemetery committee as well. So I encourage you to keep your eyes and ears open for what's coming next for the planned giving committee, and to take a quick look at the annual parish meeting booklet that's online to read about what's going on with the cemetery. Just some quick highlights for family ministry. Actually, we hired Jess officially in January last year, so she's technically in the new staff list for 2024 as well. And concurrently with that, we launched in February, we tried to relaunch a more robust children's formation curriculum. And we've shifted and made some changes along the way, and things are kind of cooking pretty well right now. Glad for that. In the summer, we welcomed 30 kids and their families for a relaunched Vacation Bible School. That was a really fun week, something that we are going to try to do again this year. We've learned a lot, and we will really try to make it St. James' own this go-around, is what we're hoping for. The other thing that we did is we introduced Fifth Sunday family services. These only happen 4 times a year. So this full year of cycle is us trying to get a wrangle on how to really do that. And the purpose of that service is to really showcase and to highlight and to encourage the children and youth of this parish to feel empowered to be that they are a part of this parish and a part of worship here, and are central to our mission and vision here at St. James. The other thing that we did is we prepared and confirmed 7 youth last year when the bishop was visiting in October, which I think is way up from, we had 1 maybe the year before. Really pleased with that. And then looking ahead to 2025, my prayer is that we engage in more intergenerational formation opportunities and worship opportunities. So if they're, and to become more accessible. So you may see this year a few attempts at more inclusive worship for people who are, have all kinds of disabilities, whether that be physical or intellectual, and more intergenerational gatherings as well. So that's our hope for 2025. On the pastoral care front, you'll also see in the annual report a report from Trudy Gross, who heads up our pastoral associates. The pastoral associates are a group of, we have 14 active members of the pastoral associates, and that is really an umbrella group for several different ministries. Our card ministry, which has grown this year to include our college students. It includes those who help with funeral receptions. And let me say, that is one of our most important points of welcome in this parish. We did a number of funerals last year for people who have only been tangentially associated with St. James in the past, and we've had a couple people through the ministry of funerals start to return to us and deepen their lives, their spiritual lives with us at St. James. So I just wanted to, that's a very quiet in behind the scenes, you don't ever see them kind of ministry. And it has made a big impact in the lives of those who are bereaved and in the life of St. James. The other thing to note is that we have a group of, what I would say a large group of 8 lay Eucharistic visitors who have made all of those, 74, almost all of those 74 visits. Chad and I get to make them occasionally, but they really do take ownership in the bulk of those visits. And I am truly grateful to be in a place where lay people feel empowered to share the Eucharist with others. This is just another important point of connection for those who worship with us online or can't join us. We have a couple, Harold and Frances Neely, who are new members to this congregation. They joined during COVID and have not been able, because of their health, to join us in person, but now feel like they are full and connected members because we have folks who are visiting them regularly. So I'm grateful for our pastoral associates and LEVs for all the work that they do. Thank you. Who's next?
I'll be brief with you because I know we're short on time. First, let me express I'm really optimistic about the future of St. James. We are a great church. We're welcoming. We're vibrant. We connect with people. So that's you. Thank you so much. That's been great. And next, I'd like to go express just how grateful I am for our amazing rectors, Chad and Mary Beth. You know, we are so lucky to have them, you know, and I hope you feel blessed by that. True. And next, I know it takes a ton of effort to keep this church going. You couldn't model the amount of volunteer work it takes to keep this thing going. So all of you who volunteer, all the time and effort you put in, I just want to say thank you. I know there's a lot of thanklessness to it, but God's watching. So thank you so much. And if there's anybody out there who doesn't volunteer, feel free to step in. You know, this is not a one size fits all. If you try something out, it doesn't work, that's great. People's schedule and lives change all the time. You know, do a short term, do a long term. It's just a great experience for fellowship and getting to know other people. So the other thing I'd like to say is thank you all for pledging. Whoever pledged, you know, making the business side of the church, there's a lot of sausage making going on here. And so I appreciate you, all those who pledge. It means so much. It helps us set forth what we're doing in the future. It's very important. If you haven't pledged, it's not too late. It really helps immensely. So let's see. The last thing I want to touch on is our FEMA grants. And so we've received 2 FEMA grants for the improvement of the physical security of our church. And these grants are each for $150,000 each. You go, wow, but this isn't a blank check. This is reimbursement-based, heavy bureaucracy. But we've got a plan. We're pretty close to closing the deal with them, so we're authorized to spend, which we're looking forward to doing quite a bit, but stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as to what all we're doing coming up, but we're hoping to get executing here pretty quickly. And last, I just want to say it's been an honor to be your senior warden. It's been amazing, and we're just a unique church, and I think we've got a lot of bright times ahead of us. So thank you.
So before I turn it over to our junior warden, many of you know, but not all of you know, we have an executive committee who meets on a weekly basis, and that's made up of our senior warden, Scott Briles, who you just heard from, our junior warden, Tony McGraw, our treasurer, Stacy Cleveland, and our register, Jane Roth. And they are really the unpaid staff of St. James. They work tirelessly, and can we just show them our appreciation for what they do? Thank you all. Thank you. All right, Tony, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks. Tough to follow. Good morning. In addition to the written report that most of you have online and hard copies hopefully in the future, but I thought it would be good to, because the written report outlines the responsibilities and the purpose of the junior warden. But in addition to that, I wanted to share some pictures before and after of a sampling, just a sampling of the projects that were completed back in 2024. So we had the stone restoration, phase 2. Phase 1 was done in 2023, which was the main church. Phase 2 was basically the parish hall where we're sitting, as well as the Rittenhouse building on the exterior stone, and a lot of related improvements to that. So one was the coffin porch entrance. This was before slab had settled. We had woodwork that needed to be replaced. Stone steps were settling, broken, and so it was restored to this. I always think pictures speak volumes instead of a lot of words. The east side of the Rittenhouse and the parish hall. Before, in fact, there was a large, large pine tree here. They had to be removed in order for the work to take place. You notice the fencing that was there, faux painting of the boiler room, and also this was afterwards with the new fencing and gates, painting of the boiler room, and then landscaping here of where the large tree was. And don't know if y'all have seen this, but we have a sentinel here watching over us. So there he is. That eagle was rescued by my wife Pamela right before we demoed the garages. We found it hidden away in the garages, so she said we cannot let this go with the demo. So she rescued it. The infamous boiler room roof. We had actually trees, small trees growing out before this picture, moss, deterioration was going on underneath. The boiler room was like a waterfall with water coming down through when it rained. And now we have this here that should last a lot of years. Iron railings. There was a partial railing here at the bell tower, so now we have a full length. There was just a small wooden handrail here on this side of the parish hall porch, right back there. And now we have these railings here for safety and security. There was no railing at all at the sacristy porch. The infamous garages. After many years of discussions and planning and approvals, I was telling people it took 2 years to get stuff done to the point where it took 2 hours for this to be removed almost. But it was removed last July, much to the delight, especially of our North Street neighbors. And now we have this, although the grass hopefully will come back in the spring, but we'll see what we're going to be doing with that space in the future. And then there was a lot of property-related tools, some materials, and also for gardening. So we added, I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but there's a brand-new shed that's tucked away back over here behind the parish house, up against the fence line there. Before, we had the entrance, which really is the main entrance people are using for visitors, for our staff, and all that are coming in on the back. So we had that. Some of the boards all had to be replaced, restored. This was before that we had some lights here that was donated to us and installed by one of our parishioners. And now we have a very welcoming, safer walkway and also a place for people to go out and relax on the back porch. landscaping. Results of many, many hours by the Sacred Soil Society. And this is just, again, a sampling. A lot of these were new plantings, replantings, and pruning. Additional, we had these are two brand new Japanese maples that used to be some boxwood trees that were deteriorating, becoming a little bit unsafe, unsightly, all the above. So that was replaced there. And then along the Wirt Street here, much of this had to be pruned, and then it came back with thinning out plantings because of the stone phase restoration for phase 1. Latest, this was after many, many discussions and emphasis as well, where now we have a space here on both sides. Before we did not, welcoming for people that need additional space and all can come up instead of sitting in the back. So that's all I have, but I really would like for you to go into the written report and just look at the entire list of appreciation and support that if we didn't have all that, we would not be doing what we've done in 2024. Hopefully we'll be making good gains in 2025 as well. But I really want to also thank especially the volunteers on the property committee and their related ministry for the many, many hours that they have put in, especially for 2024. It's truly a privilege to be here as your junior warden. Thanks.
Good morning. So we're going to talk about sausage making. So I think we've done a wonderful job talking about our season of growth and investment. And it's important to keep in mind all of the things that we have done to achieve growth in average Sunday attendance, membership, making our property more welcoming, and accessible to all who come. Having the staff necessary to make this happen, because let's be honest, we all know unless it's somebody's day job to get something done, it usually doesn't get done. So how have we paid for that? The fact of the matter is that we've paid for, all of those projects have been paid for with long-term gifts. The results of those gifts through many, many years. So existing funds, we've used $728,000 and some change over the last several years to finish Whitmer Phase 2 and the Pew Accessibility Project. We solicited and spent additional funds to the tune of $260,000. So that nearly $1 million investment has resulted in the sorts of improvements that you've seen. And I would say all very, very worthwhile. The investments in staff, the investments in additional programming have caused us to have operational deficits the last several years. The good news is that we have operating reserves that we've been able to use to absorb those deficits. So let's talk about 2024. I think the key things to think about in 2024 is we did much, much better than budgeted. We had budgeted a $91,000 deficit. We ended the year with a $47,700 deficit. That is really the result of 56 families who gave more than they pledged, 148 individuals and families who gave even without pledging, and careful expense management in every category, nearly every category, resulting in savings. All of that allowed us to, I'll say, land the year far better than we expected. The projects that Tony talked about all come with a price tag. All of them done as economically as the property committee, who works very hard to make sure that that all happens. We also did things like refreshing our IT because we have to give people the tools that they need to do their jobs. We have to be able to have the sort of outreach and streaming to make all of that happen. And we have to have things like HVAC in preschool classrooms to make sure that we're able to do that. So again, all money well spent. So let's look forward to 2025. If you look at it, we are currently forecasting a $103,000 deficit. That's not where we want it to be really honest with you all. We have made an enormous amount of progress, but as all of us know, probably when we go to the grocery store, expenses are growing faster than revenues. And that's true for us as well. So the vestry is taking this situation very seriously because while we have reserves, and we have the reserves that would allow us to absorb this deficit, our reserves are not endless. And we want to make sure that all of the investments that we're making, we're taking care so that they're positioning us for long-term health. So with all of that in mind, the vestry has agreed that we are capping hiring at 2025 levels until the budget is balanced. The Finance Committee is sponsoring a committee that will provide a plan to the vestry for further reductions in spending and plans for helping us to control the growth of that spending. We'll be asking the Stewardship Committee to do some after-season work to look at lessons learned. How can we learn from other parishes? How can we learn from what we've done to make sure that we are taking advantage of all of the best practices out there to make sure that we are focusing on the revenue side of the equation? We're also going to do a parish assessment. We have a donor that has sponsored bringing in Holy Cow Consulting that we used a few years ago. And the reason that we're doing this is with all the growth that we've had, we have a lot of people here who weren't here the last time we did that assessment. And it's important for us to understand what is the hopes and dreams of our current parish to make sure that we're growing in those directions. So you'll hear more about that, and we'll use that to help us make sure that our priorities are well aligned. And, not to be the person who is talking about money all the time, because nobody likes that person, you should look to just expect regular communications about finances, because let's face it, it's a fact of life, right? None of this happens all for free, and it's important that we all as a family understand where we're at and how we're progressing in that area. So that is my commitment to you, is that sort of direct and candid feedback. So if you're like me, you want to know, what can you do? Like Scott said, if you haven't made a pledge, please consider making a pledge. A pledge is just letting us know what your plans are. We all know plans change. But if I know what your plans are, we're in a better position to plan for the parish. If you're a ministry leader or you just want to learn more, please join me on the 23rd or the 24th of the month. We'll be doing a bit more of an in-depth review, making sure that our parish ministry leaders understand what their budgets are, how that process works. And then just stay current. Here's the other thing. You can reach me at treasurer@stjamesleesburg.org if you have questions, or I have been reached out to on Facebook at Ida Lee. Reach out to me at any point in time. I'm happy to talk. It is, I will say, a privilege to serve all of you and a privilege to serve with this group. Thank you.
So I want to take just a moment to recognize all of our outgoing vestry members. A special thank you, of course, to Scott Briles, our senior warden, so Kathleen Greeno, Troy Harry, and Melissa Sutton. If you're here today, will you please stand up so we can show our appreciation to you? Thank you all. And so what I'd like to do is just a very small token of my appreciation for the four of you. This is an icon of St. James that has been blessed, and they're in these bags back here, spoiler alert, okay? So please pick one up as you leave today and know that we cannot thank you enough for your service to St. James over the past 3 years. Thank you. All right, so at this time, we are going to have our official election of our 4 vestry candidates, Michael Fabian, Dick Hirsch, Cinta Keegan, and Brian Welsh. And I want to let you know that we had, I think it was 165 members cast their ballots and vote. So thank you for your participation again. The idea behind this is to create more involvement, and I think we accomplished that again this year. And I am so grateful for all those who submitted their names and who were not elected this year, but know that you're not off the hook. If I haven't reached out to you yet, I will be, and we have other things for you to get involved in before you are nominated again next year. So at this time, is there a motion to approve the 4 vestry candidates for class of 2028? Okay. All right, so I got a lot of moves and I got a second, so we'll just say that Chris Hatch moved it and Kathleen seconded it for the notes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed with a nay? All right, motion carries. Congratulations to our 4 new vestry members. Again, I just want to close by thanking all of you, and if I start naming names, I'm going to leave someone off, but there are just so many people to be grateful for. Mary Beth and I go to clergy conferences, of course. We come back from those clergy conferences, and we are incredibly grateful to be here at St. James. So again, just thank you for what you do, and look forward to serving alongside each and every one of you in the year to come. Let's close with a word of prayer. The Lord be with you. Heavenly Father, in whom we live and move and have our very being, we thank you for all the blessings of this life, especially for the gift of your church here at St. James. Teach us in all things to seek you first. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it in the year to come. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you all so much.